Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Pleased to have back here in studio. Love everything that she does, and I'm going to stop talking about it like she's not sitting here to my right. Whose Line Is It Anyway? The host of Whose Line Is It Anyway, currently in Season 13. Criminal Minds, Season 13 premieres Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern on CBS, which is America's most watched network, I do believe. And the voice of Lana Kane in Archer. Aisha Tyler, good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
And of course, there's the new film Axis that opened up in Los Angeles last Friday and in New York on this coming Friday that you directed, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, the 49ers are your team, correct? You love the San Francisco 49ers?
I was raised during the first dynasty, so they'll always be my team.
So that you stick with them in that respect.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, doesn't every look, if you're an obsessive, then maybe other reasons for following a team. But for me, the team that I watched with my dad as a kid is always going to be my team.
And that's your team.
That's my team.
So who's your guy? Who is your guy?
Well, he doesn't play for the 49ers anymore.
He does, I'm sure. So who was your guy when you were watching the 49ers?
When I was growing up, when I was a kid?
Yeah.
I mean, that was, that was Montana, and then Montana Rice. I mean, that was it. That was it.
Yes.
You know, my father, it's interesting. My father and I watched the 49ers coming up, and, you know, that was like a special time on the weekends for us. And then when Rice went to Oakland, my father, the Niners were dead to him, and they have remained dead to him
Really?
since. Yeah. I really feel like I wish that Rice had finished his career with the 49ers, or everything that he gave to that team. And I know that, you know, everybody kind of focuses on quarterbacks, and quarterbacks, you know, they're the stars of the team. But Rice he's one of the greatest people to ever play the game, and it felt like an ignominious end to his career that he didn't get to finish.
Well, he's absolutely, and I've been fortunate to be around a ton of them. The nastiest competitor I've ever seen. He can't let things go. I once did a Pro Bowl segment with him and Emmitt Smith together, and a 2-segment interview where I threw it a break saying we're going to come right back. 2 Dancing with the Stars veterans. One of them won and the other one didn't.
Right.
We'll be right back. Emmitt laughed, and Jerry Rice spent the next 2 minutes during the commercial break staring a hole through me.
No way. Wow.
Staring a hole through me, and I'm like, okay, so how many seconds till we come back here?
Right. Like one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time is upset about not winning Dancing with the Stars.
I'm like, dude, you've got every record ever. You are the greatest ever. There's no question.
You're the greatest ever. There's no question.
There's a question with him and Jim Brown as to who's like maybe the greatest to ever wear a uniform. And even that, he was just pissed at the world with me.
It's interesting though. Like I interviewed, some athletes on my podcast, and
the Girl on Guy podcast.
On Girl on Guy podcast, yeah. And oh God, the name's not in my head because it's early in the morning and I haven't eaten. I'm having a stroke. It'll come to me in a minute. I'm always having like an ongoing low-level stroke. Lakers pretty boy, married to Vanessa Williams.
Rick Fox.
He's gonna punch me in the neck when he sees me next. I'm sorry.
It's Rick Fox.
I legitimately am. I just had like a total brain blank.
It's okay.
Rick was talking about the fact that athletes are competitive in every aspect of their lives, right? Like on the field, off the field. He said if that guy pulls up in a Maserati, then you're gonna pull up in a Bugatti. Like if that guy's got 7 buttons on his suit, you're gonna come back with a 31 button suit. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just always competition. So I guess it makes sense that he would have been upset with you.
Right.
But it's also incredibly silly.
Right. But aren't comics like that too, Aisha?
No, I don't think so. You know, look, I mean, I guess on some level we're competitive. I mean, if I'm going up after you, I'm going to make sure that, you know, I get more laughs than you. And if I go up before you, I'm going to make sure I destroy the audience so that you have nothing left. You know what I mean? You stumble into a nuclear wasteland of cadavers, and then no one can laugh. You know,
competitive.
But I do think we also secretly support each other because we know how hard it is to be a comic. The thing comedians do with like this kind of like sidelong schadenfreude support, where if you tell a joke that's funny, I won't laugh at it, but I will make a noise that resembles a laugh in some way to indicate my approval.
Aisha Tyler here on the Rich Eisen Show. I did stand up in college at Michigan.
Oh, awesome! I didn't know that.
For 3 years.
That's so great.
Toughest thing I've ever had to do.
It's very hard.
I mean, and I've done a lot of live broadcasts in my day. Nothing compares to standing in front of an audience and trying to make them laugh, or figure out what to be said from your repertoire connects.
Exactly.
And make it work. So I thought, you know, I'm going to try this. And I did it in a student union in Michigan when stand-up comedy in the late 80s was red hot. Tom Hanks and Sally Field were making movies about it, you know. And so I then went on the road. And it was the toughest thing I had to do. And the comics, after we were off, I would start, you know, having fun telling jokes. And they would basically make that noise
Yeah.
that you said, sort of like that, or just like, how you gonna? Or they say, you're gonna use that?
Oh God, ooh, thievery.
Are you going to use
gonna
that?
use that?
And I'm like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this.
I also don't allow comics to do material on me unless we've agreed that it's material time. Do you know what I mean? Like if we sat down and I'm like, I'll give you 5 minutes to try some stuff out on me, fine. But if you're just like trying to sneak bits into the conversation, I'm like, you doing a bit right now, buddy? Because I don't work here.
Yeah. So there's
nothing.
There's no stealth workshopping.
No, and no, you can't sneak up on another comedian with your bit about flying.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But did we come up with a bit with Tiny Man Couch?
Well, that was
for
just
you?
that
was off the cuff,
that was just observation. I was just commenting on my surroundings.
No, I understand, but there could be something that could be done with.
I'm too classy to take the Tiny Man Couch bit away from the Tiny Man Couch. I'm only going to use my Tiny Man Couch bit when I'm here at the Rich Eisen show. Never anywhere else.
So
it is a very small couch.
It is an absurdly small couch, but one that we.
But there are those that love it.
Well, one that management provided us, and who am I to say no?
It's wildly masculine though. Like I don't know how it could be anyway. You can't tell. You can't see at home, but it's got a beard just hanging down underneath it. Just a giant couch beard. It's such a manly couch.
The new film Axis. You were here the last time talking about a Kickstarter campaign.
I was raising money to make that movie.
And now here it is.
Yeah.
It stars an Irish actor named Emmett Hughes,
who's an unknown here, but is kind of like the Edward Burns of Ireland. He made this beautiful small family comedy called The O'Briens that got a lot of attention a couple of years ago, and I met him when I was over there shadowing on a couple of shows on a show called Vikings that people probably know here.
Of course, yeah. And so he plays an actor who had a great burst of success here in Los Angeles and now isn't, and the whole movie's shot in a car.
Yeah, which was it was a really cool idea. Like when I was trying to figure out what my first film was going to be, I wanted to do something that was going to stand out. You know what I mean? That was going to be different. A lot of people, that first film is, especially if it's a small independent film, it's like a bunch of people talking in a room or, you know, a family comedy in a house. And I just wanted to do something that felt rugged and different. And it was a cool set of problems to solve. How do you make a movie about a guy driving through LA at rush hour, compelling and interesting and exciting? And I think we were able to do that, which is really fun. And people might know that there is another movie that's very similar to this that I wasn't familiar with when I took the movie on, but I did see before we shot ours, called Lock. But it took place at night. And the first thing I did when I got this script was I'm going to make this movie a daytime movie because we've got this small set, which is this car, but then we're going to have this huge second set, which is all of LA. So you really see, he drives from Elysian Park all the way to the beach, and you really see all of Los Angeles. And for anybody who lives here, LA is a character in the movie. It's a love letter to Los Angeles and everything that's beautiful and ugly about it, you know?
Well, Elysian Park is where Dodger Stadium is.
Dodger Stadium features prominently in my movie.
Okay. And so...
Thanks, Dodgers.
So it starts on like Vin Scully Way and then winds up at the ocean or something like that?
It starts up at this beautiful kind of helipad above Dodger Stadium looking down, and you end up in the Palisades. As the sun is setting. And so you just get to see all of LA at that time, that beautiful time of day. I wanted, we all have been in our car, stuck in our car at rush hour.
Yes.
And it's a combination of rage and just, inexpressible fury. And then this kind of dreamy feel of what the sun's kind of streaming through your car and the dust motes are flying. You got the radio on and probably the last bit of silence you're going to have. You have kids, so it's the only silence you get in a day probably.
Right.
And you're trying to handle a little bit of business and also trying to get a little bit of time alone. And you like this kid. I mean, he's a good guy. He's done some pretty bad things, but he's not a bad person. And I really like stories about redemption. And
the voices in the movie are certainly recognizable names. Sam Rockwell, did you go to high school with him?
We went to high school together. We were in theater class together.
Did you go to the prom?
Well, I don't know if you can call it a prom. I mean, we partied in the park.
Adam Rodriguez, Thomas Gibson, Paget Brewster, Jerry Ferraro, who's been on this show many, many times.
Yeah.
How many miles you put on the car to shoot the movie?
We shot this thing in 7 days, like I said. We shot every day driving from Elysian Park to the beach in real time. So we would start around 3 o'clock and we'd end around 7 o'clock, so that we were shooting the movie every day. The same dialogue would be delivered at the same point in LA at the same time of day, so it would all match when we cut it together. So We had a beautiful Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon in this thing.
Nice.
Yeah, and we put it up on another truck, so the actor didn't have to drive and also deliver.
So there was no
65 pages of dialogue
while actually driving.
Yeah, because I only, we didn't have another foxy Irishman to replace him with if he got T-boned in the middle of a line.
Yeah, those are in short supply.
There was only a few of them running around.
I'd imagine. So you didn't put actual miles on the car?
No miles on the actual car. But I will tell you a fun thing, a fun story. We were driving, the whole car's on this big process trailer, and there's lights and there's cameras, and I'm sitting up kind of behind it looking at these monitors. And this guy's acting. He's doing, almost an entire script all the way through every day by himself. And it's just hot. It's just hot testicular, like heatness in that car. So at some point he rolls down a window when we're at a stoplight, but the battery of the car has died. And so now the window's stuck down, and it's not going to match the rest of the movie until we get it back up. And we're pulling on it, we're tugging on it, and we have to pull over, and they've got to de-rig 3 cameras and this entire light array, which is like bolted to the front of the car, jumpstart the car, and then reattach everything, which took us like an hour and a half. And there's just all these photos of me like standing in the middle of traffic on Wilshire Boulevard with a T-shirt that says "Welcome to the Bleep Show," while these guys are unrigging this. And it's not like I can go back to the studio and get more money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
sure.
On this movie, when you see the credits, I have like 18 credits in it because I was the director, I was the sandwich maker, I was the hug giver. I was the neck puncher. Like I did everything to get this movie made.
Well, it makes sense because you do everything. Also, like I said, Criminal Minds, Archer, Courage and Stone is a new line of premium blended bottled cocktails for you at Aisha Tyler on Twitter. And by the way, I don't know if you're aware, the side effect of Tiny Man Couch is hot testicular heatness.
Hot testicular heatness.
I just find that
otherwise known as sweating balls, you guys. That's the medical term.
New fantasy.
That's our new fantasy team name.
Oh, please let that be your new fantasy team name.
Well, we started off 2-1. If we go on a losing streak, we have to change it to hot testicular heatness. And
that just sounds like a fun night at a disco.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I've had it.
I knew you had. I could see the glint in your eye.
Too much
like
information.
Like a pimp back there behind your Matrix setup.
Good to see you, Aisha. Thanks for coming.
Oh my God, thanks for having me.
The best.
That's so amazing.
Go check out Axis at a theater near you. It's in Los Angeles and New York for the time being. Check it all out at Aisha Tyler on Twitter.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
Isn't it amazing you can download an app with your thumbprint? You should download our app with your thumbprint.